Hi, I'm Dan Farmer, president of SESCO, and welcome to the Cardinal Cocktail. Cardinal Cocktail is going to be a weekly cocktail series where we present a different style of art Cardinal glassware, and we're going to allow you to kind of see how it might look and feel in your establishment and see if it makes sense for you. One of the partnerships that Art Cardinal has with Chris Adams of the Adams Ellis Group, is a premier cocktailer, a bartender, and hospitality group management company. And they have done something with Art Cardinal with the Arcarac collection, the Chris Adams Bar Series. And as you can see here, you've got all kind of tools here, whether it's going to be your Hawthorne strainer, your julep strainer, you got fine mesh strainers, plenty of different styles of jiggers here that we can talk to, and a full collection of kind of bottles that you can use for bitters, syrups, simple syrups, muddlers, you name it. All right, so for this week's drink, we're going to be doing something that I call the Black Cauldron. And again, part of your drink has to be how you make that drink up. So remember, when you're drinking, you drink first with your eyes, then with your nose, then with your mouth. So that's why the glassware and the tool set that you use is so important. That's part of the presentation piece. And for today, we're going to be using the Lima whiskey collection from Chef and Sommelier, or the Art Cardinal collection. They have a Chef and Sommelier and the Arcarac collection. But this one here, again, beautiful elevated glass, 11 3/4 ounces, so we're going to be able to put a nice ball of ice in there. It's going to give the visual appeal, even a little bit of the curve on the glassware, add a little sex to it. Anything you can do, presentation piece, that you can elevate your drink experience, you're going to be able to charge your customer a little bit more, they're going to have that much more reason to come back. So pay mind glassware you use and look at the Art Cardinal collection. All right, so for the Black Cauldron, here's your ingredient mix. We're going to be using 2 ounces of Buffalo Trace here, or whatever your bourbon of choice is. We're going to be using 1/4 ounce of Nocino black walnut liqueur. It's an Italian-based liqueur. You can find it in the U.S. just about any liquor store you look. Also got some root beer bitters, and again, these bottles here are part of the Art Cardinal offering. You can find these here, perfect for whatever types of mixer you want to add to your bar. Along with pouring bottles. These are also part of the Art Cardinal collection, and this is just maple syrup. We're going to be using 1/4 ounce of maple syrup in place of our simple syrup to give it a little bit of that kind of fall flavor to it, okay? And then we're going to be adding an orange. We're going to be using the orange, the actual orange itself, and the orange rind, okay? And the Luxardo cherries, and then a cinnamon stick, and we'll see why here in just a second. All right, so to start for the Black Cauldron, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the orange from the actual orange peel. We're going to use this as part of the garnish. But I'm going to drop one of these guys in each glass here. And then we're going to take one Luxardo cherry, okay? Put it on in there. I actually might use a little bit of the syrup itself as well. Again, going to add a little bit more flavor to it, okay? And then what we're going to do, we're going to muddle these. Available from our Cardinal here, our muddler, okay? That way it's going to get a nice mixture of flavor in there, have some things floating around. So I'm thinking, like, you know, a witch's brew and a witch's cauldron, you're going to want some stuff floating around in there. Usually they got what? Maybe bat wings or frogs, or who knows what else in there. For us, we just use Luxardo cherries and oranges though, okay? Okay, now for the business part of this cocktail. Let's add our ingredients. And again, we're going to be using the Chris Adams jigger here. It's a 2-ounce jigger. What I like about this is you can see from the outside there, it actually tells you the pours. You can see from the outside of the jigger and from the inside where your pour needs to be. But this is a perfect 2-ounce pour. So I'm just going to take 2 of these here. We're going to drop them right into this Broadway beaker. And again, the Broadway beaker also available from the Art Cardinal collection. All right, next, we're going to use some of this Nocino here. And again, we're going to have probably 2/4 ounces, so about a 1/2 ounce. Typically I pour from the bottle, but I don't want to bring the whole bottle out here. So we'll just use this here, and there we go. And you can see how that's already darkening that liquor up to give it that Black Cauldron vibe to it. Okay, we're going to take 4 dashes of bitters, make it 8, multiply it by 2, and then 1/4 ounce of maple syrup per drink. And we're doing 2 drinks here. So I'm going to take this, use my visual line up there, because I can see exactly where my pour level needs to be. And boom, maple syrup in the glass. All right, now we're going to take a little bit of ice, put that in my beaker here, give it a little pre-chill. All right, and we're just going to stir this along. Again, we want to get that maple syrup to kind of move around in there. So give us some time. I don't like shaking these too much because I don't want too much of the ice tips in there. And you can combine the Hawthorne strainer with the kind of fine mesh strainer if you want to, just to make sure there's no ice in there at all. Okay? And there we go. And just to see what I'm doing here, I want to make sure I know how this cocktail is going to end up. So I'm going to take my ice cube, drop it in there early. Okay? And again, the size of ice cubes, everything as well. You want to make sure this rises to the occasion, if you will. So I'm going to take my Hawthorne strainer, I'm going to take my mesh strainer, and we're going to pour these fellas out here. Let's see what I come up with. Again, I want to make sure I pour these evenly here. So keeping an eye on the glass. Kind of start with one, move back over to the other. That way you got equal amounts of liquor in each one. Because I don't want to be the guy cheating somebody out of a good drink. I've seen that before, doesn't it as well? All right. Now, we're 2/3 of the way home here. Let's finish this guy off. Now, for the Black Cauldron, if you have some kind of a smoking apparatus, I like the smoke. You don't have to. It has a nice touch to it. So I'm going to try this one here. See if I can get this to burn correctly for me. Now, a lot of times with these, if you don't have the right kind of torch, kind of blow it to a little bit. Helps get that smoke all the way in there. Okay? I might want to get a little more on this one here. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my orange rind, add some of the zest around the side. We're going to take that around the rim, place that right in the glass. Then add our cinnamon stick. And the same thing with this guy here. Depending on the rim, you can see how the acid actually reacts with the smoke too. Gives it a real nice vibe to feel. And it fell in the glass. That's going to be okay, because again, with a cauldron, things are going to mess around. Here is the Black Cauldron. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this first round of the Cardinal cocktail. And again, this is the Lima Whiskey Collection, Chef and Sommelier from our Cardinal. And I think you're going to like what you find in the catalog. So tune in next week when we try another cocktail. I just want to try it. Oh, you will not be disappointed in this one. Cheers.